Hello and welcome to the very last video of 2022, my very last one. And as you know, this very last week of the year, every year I do for the past 5 years, I've been doing a personal annual review of the year as it's gone, how I've achieved any of the goals I set through the year, and what I plan on doing through the next year. I separate my planning into 3, so I'll show you. I have my personal journal that I write in my own personal thoughts and feelings, anything spiritual, understandings, events of life, you know, the usual stuff you'd normally put in a journal. And then I go to my garden plans for the year and anything to do with the homestead, so to speak. So the garden plans and everything that needs doing, I have written in here. I've read through previous entries, seen what we've done, what still needs doing, and the projects I plan on for the coming year. A calendar I bought specifically for the gardening side of it, and I've started to write in which projects I plan on doing through those months as and when they happen and need to happen, so I have a bit more planning. And then next week, being the first week of the month and the garden one, I will talk a bit more about my garden plans with you then. Also, the third section of planning is to do with work, the business side of things, so to speak, the publishing, the book writing, the book creation and writing, and anything else I want to plan on doing in the coming year to do with that. How I've met goals this year, which I haven't met very many, but there have been things I've been able to tick off, and what the plans are for next year, what I want it to look like and how I wanted to carry it forward. And I've also got a smaller diary on top of my usual everyday personal life diary. I've got one specifically for the plans for the book writing and publishing, any digital products I intend creating, or any merchandising, anything to do with income and earnings and self-employment that I plan on growing and developing this year, which was supposed to have done this year, but I haven't been able to. So I'm going to rechannel and alter plans to make it grow for 23. And it feels a bit more positive. There's been so much going on this year, it's been absolutely ridiculous, but that's where we've got to. So each thing I will share with you on the appropriate week of the next month. So that is it. So we've got the garden and the homestead. I think I might need to add this one as not just the gardening but the homesteading as well, because everything we do in the garden and in the home together makes our home and our homesteading. We're staying and using our home and our garden in a way that helps to supplement our life, our lifestyle that we were landed in because of our lifestyle that we were landed in because of need and necessity, and because of the situation we found ourselves in, we decided to alter the dream and make it part of this life that we have, that we can't change, but we can change our attitude towards. I think that's going to be the theme in my mind, and my attitude for the coming year is adjusting my attitude to, I started, as you see, from 2019. We've already had that almost awakening, and I'll put a link to that video just for purposes of progress and seeing where we've come in the journey and what's happening now. it helps to look back in order to look forward and appreciate where we are and count our blessings and find ways of being grateful. I think that's a thing I've been trying to develop over the number of years, is an attitude of gratitude, whatever situation we're in, especially the negative situations. It's so hard to find anything to be grateful for when you're in the middle of absolute chaos, trauma, trials, whatever. It's hard to find anything to be grateful for, but it is especially in those times where it's been really important to look hard to find the good things, be grateful for them, and it actually helps overcome those darker, harder times. So that is one thing I'm going to be dealing with. So I've got 3 different avenues here: the business, the homesteading, and my personal thoughts, feelings, and recordings in my journal. And I really have been neglecting that, all of it, this year. Even the Kanban board went out the window with all the chaos that's happened this year. But no more. From next week onward, we are reverting back to the very solid, firm Monday through Wednesday as work days. And I will consider that even if I'm not earning any money, those are work days, Monday through Wednesday. And I will be very strict on the time I spend during the day working, especially on the way I divide it up, because those 3 days are the only days I have to do all of both business and homesteading. That is it. And everything in that, all of those entail is quite a lot of work, and I have to squeeze that into 3 days. And that's the reason this year I didn't actually earn anything at all. I'd earned less than £20 over the entire year, because those 3 days were constantly, I was dealing with family things that needed to be dealt with and helped with, not negatively, but trying to be of service. But unfortunately, that's not going to pay the bills. It's not going to guarantee, it's not going to provide security for us in our home. And we have to allow the people that we serve to work out their own self-reliance. We have to allow them to develop resilience and strength and ability to be able to solve these issues and problems for themselves. I know that in some circumstances, obviously, I'm still going to help where it comes to emergencies. I'm not that cold-hearted, but I have to put my foot down and say, I'm sorry. You know, if I was working in a shop or a factory or an office, I would go into work at the beginning of my shift and come out, and I'm not available to anybody during that time because it's work time. And I'm being self-employed. People seem to think that because you're self-employed, you're more flexible. I don't know where they think the money comes from. You have to earn, and in fact, when you're self-employed, you put in more hours to start with because you have to build something up, and it takes a longer time to build things up. You're not just going in to do a specific job and then get paid at the end of the month or the end of the week or fortnight. It could take years before you're actually earning, and that's probably because we get distracted because we're home and therefore considered more flexible. And I have to get strict on myself. Work is work. It's never going to be productive work if I don't get strict on time and manage it better. And that's what I thought I was doing. I had set that timetable. So that's the work I did through 2022. As I set these routines, I set these timetables, I set these plans in order, and it's time I start applying them strictly. Otherwise, I'm never ever going to move forward. On Google Drive, I still have my book. Not been my own personal book, not the medium content books I try to create. It's my own personal book. It's been there since 2019. And I have to keep going in and changing a couple of things, because Google Drive, if you haven't touched a document for 2 years, it will automatically delete it. So every now and again, every few months, I've got to go in, and even if I'm editing and changing just a little bit of spelling or moving something or changing a font or something, just to keep it live in Google Drive. And I can't do that forever. It's got to be done. And that means I have to rewrite it every year. I go through it and things have changed and updated. So I'm going to have to make it less time specific, and I'm going to have to make it something that is, as it should be, evergreen. And now I am not going to bother formatting it myself. I tried, messed up. I'm trying to save up so that I can pay somebody else to do that. And it's not copying out because it's my work. I wrote it. I'm just paying a professional to get it published ready so that it looks more professional and is more industry standard, because I'll mess it up. So yes, that's the point where my own personal book is I need to pay somebody to edit or rather format it for me. I don't want it over edited because, I mean, except for spelling and grammar, that's fine. I can get somebody to do that. But the context of it all, no, I don't want that changed because that's how I speak. I wrote as I speak, and that is how I want it to stay. So yeah, formatting and basic editing, although I think I've done as much as I can, but yeah, I'll pay for those to be done and then get it published. But I am not going to publish that one on Amazon KDP strictly. I'm going to go through somebody else like Draft to Digital, because then I can publish it to more than just one. It can go to not just Amazon, but Audible as well, and ebook, and I can do it a number of different ways, which would be far more better. Far more better. Oh my days, that's why I need an editor. Okay. As far as videos go, though, I'm sorry. For now, it's just me, and I can't pay anybody else to do that. For my personal books, though, I will go to that expense. But for my videos, I'm sorry. This is what you got. This is what you got. And so, for 2023, we're knuckling down and implementing all the plans that I've set in place. I have registered self-employed, so I've got a tax return to do for £6 something, plus the 2 books are sold in December. So under £20. I've got to do a tax return for under £20. I mean, I don't know, I don't need to, but to keep them off my back, I will do it. It's stupid because I have a monthly outgoing to BookBolt now of £8 a month to pay for some of the research that I use from BookBolt for creating the medium content books. So that's an expense. It way outstrips. So technically, if you want to be technical, I'm running at a loss. Okay, there you go. Enough rambling and mumbling, and this is an exciting time of the year. It's closing the book on 1 year, opening on another, and I'm very careful because this year, I think everybody agrees, even with 2020 and 2021, 2022 seems to have dealt different but equally stressful blows to all of us, and everybody's just going, oh, I can't wait to see the end of this year, especially with recessions, and that's putting it mildly. And it's just been a crazy year. It's been 3 years of slap in the face. So I think that's why everybody's putting up decorations and Christmas lights earlier, and everybody, and you know, people who never really do that have done it. Neighborhoods have been beautiful. So yeah, we're happy to see the end of this year, but I'm careful not to overlook the treasures of this year. So if you take nothing else from this video, close of 1 year, beginning another, don't overlook the treasures that happened, the jewels of the moments that happened during 2022, because everything was so in your face, crazy and chaotic and stressful. Go back over the year. That's why it's really helpful and important to keep a journal. and put little tabs in the good days, because you need them to go through them to help you through, to remember that it wasn't all bad. There were some treasures. Our 4th grandchild was born, another treasure in our lives, a wonderful new little person to add into our family. So we are now richer for grandchildren. We have 4 beautiful, wonderful grandchildren. Our children are all still well. This possibility of seeing more family who we haven't seen for a long time. So there have been treasures in this year, wonderful experiences, new things learned. Don't brush it off. Treasure it. It's not all bad. It's just harder to remember and find, but that's what makes it all the more precious. And it's a new beginning. Every single day is a new beginning. Every single week is a new beginning. Every single month is a new beginning. And there are opportunities. A brand new year is a big year of a new beginning. And it can be full of excitement and positivity. Yes, I'm cautious to start with too much positivity. Is what I did in 2020. And that really was a doozy, wasn't it? But yeah. Make my plans. This is going to be a better year than, the next year will be a better one than the previous, because I'm determined to make it so. But I also have to be flexible enough to adapt if things don't quite go to plan. And that is the way to stop ourselves falling flat on our faces if things don't go the way we plan. We set our plans so in order now, but they're guidelines. They are not solid lines. This is exactly what I'm going to do. This is exactly what I plan to do. And I might have to adapt how I go about doing that. Adapting to circumstances. Changing the way I achieve those goals. I do not do New Year's resolutions. I'm sorry. Life is too short to start on projects gung-ho and then have them fail very quickly. So realistic goals that have been following me for 5 years that I've been doing this, that I improve on and adapt as I go, and I'm still achieving stuff. Sometimes I have to adapt to how I do that, and sometimes I have to change those goals. But this one, this self-reliance one, has to happen. Oh, before I finish, I'm getting on for 20 minutes now, and I don't want to go over that. Before I finish, one of the goals for 2023 is that I'm going to start doing podcasts. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I still have to get a little bit of even the basic equipment. So I still need to afford to do that. So I will do that. And the podcast will fall on the Self-Reliance week of the month, where we'll discuss something to do with self-reliance. So that is the week to look out for it. The last, the 4th week of the month. That is when I'll be doing my podcast. And I'll do it as a video podcast so that I could both post it on YouTube and on the podcast apps. So that's what I'm going to be doing as one of the new things for this year. I'm trying not to do too many new things, just to pinpoint, specifically target the things that I already do and make it better. That's the only new thing I'm going to be doing, that and being stricter, implementing what I've already planned and set in place. So with that, please take with you my heartfelt wishes for a fantastic 2023, a great start and a great continuation of the entire year past January. So let's make it as positive as we can. Let's adjust our attitudes to whatever happens, to play the glad game, as Pollyanna would have it, to find something to be grateful for in every situation, however it may appear, whatever the forecasters say, whatever hits us like a punch in the face, let alone a slap in the face. Play the glad game. Find something in every day to be grateful for. Keep a journal and look back at it. that is the best thing that I could offer you for this coming year. That is what I do, and that's what helps. I have no expertise to give you except my experience, which isn't a huge amount. It's not that vast, but what I have, I give in the hope that it will help you. And with that, Happy New Year. May it be a wonderful one from Blue Garden Cottage. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.